Hello friends, this is lecture number 1 from the sub part of first topic respiration and circulation. Today we are starting with this topic circulation, or we can say the transport. So this transport or circulation. What's the meaning of word this transport? Transportation means transfer of substances from one place to another inside the body. This is the meaning of word transportation. So, which material are transported from one place to the another inside the body? In the previous topic in respiration, we have studied that oxygen is transported from where to where? This oxygen is transported from lungs to cells. We also have seen that carbon dioxide is transported from cells to lungs. What about the nutrients, that is glucose, amino acids, fatty acids and glycerol? These nutrients, or we can say end product of digestion. This end product of digestion, glucose, amino acids, fatty acids and glycerol are transported from small intestine. From small intestine to where? To the cells. So this is the way of transportation, that is the material are transported from one place to the another. This is the meaning of term transport. So transportation, it is of two types. First one is intracellular, second one extracellular. What's the meaning of intracellular? It is within the cell, or we can say that inside the cells only. What's the meaning of extracellular? It is outside the cell. Diagrammatically, if we consider this is a cell, or it is an irregular organism which is called as amoeba. In such cases, here if we consider that this is nucleus and remaining one is the cytoplasm present here. This cytoplasm, it shows cyclic movement. This cytoplasm, it moves continuously inside the cell, and this movement of cytoplasm inside the cell continuously will transport the material from one place to the another. This is called as cycloid movement. This cycloid movement can be seen in case of amoeba, as I said, in case of amoeba, in case of paramecium, in case of root hair of the plant cells, root hair of the plants, and in case of WBC, that is white blood corpuscles of animals. These are the examples showing intracellular circulation in case of intracellular circulation because of cycloid movement of the cytoplasm. Okay, so this is for intracellular movement or the transportation. Second one is called as extracellular transportation. This extracellular transportation is seen in different animals and it shows different types. For example, first one we are going to consider about the porifers. What is the meaning of porifera? It is a phylum Porifera. Animals belonging to phylum Porifera are sponges and Coelenterata. Coelenterata have the gastrovascular cavity. Secondly, in case of Platyhelminthes, if you remember, these all are the names of invertebrate phyla. So in these cases, porifers and coelenterates, the type of circulation is extracellular. That means we can say water current, it passes between the cells, or we can say water current, this water current passes in between the cells, and when this water current passes through the body cavities or through in between the cells, then whatever required material are there, they are picked up by the cells. Then this Platyhelminthes means the flatworms. In case of flatworms, the required material, or we can say the circulation or transportation, it takes place through what? It takes place through parenchyma circulation. This parenchyma circulation means what? This parenchyma circulation means the circulation between what? It is between the body wall and the visceral organs. Visceral organs means what? Organs present inside the body. So whatever fluid is there, that means in case of flatworms, parenchyma circulation involved the spaces between the mesodermal cells. Spaces present between the mesodermal cells are called as parenchyma tissue. So this parenchyma tissue present between body wall and visceral organs consists of some fluid, and the circulation or the transportation takes place between body wall and visceral organ. This is called as parenchyma circulation in case of platyhelminth. In case of annelids, how the circulation takes place? In case of annelids, actually here the close circulation is there. I want to say you about roundworms. What do you mean by roundworms? Roundworms means the aschelminths. In case of aschelminths, no blood vessels are present. We can say that blood vessels are totally absent in case of annelids. In case of roundworms. So how the circulation will take place? Circulation will take place between the body cells and body cavity. Means what? Body cavity consists of body fluid, and this body fluid surrounds the body cells, and so the exchange takes place. So up to roundworms, this type of circulation is there. What we have seen? Firstly, we have seen about Porifera, first phylum of invertebrate. Then we have seen about Coelenterata, it is second phylum of invertebrate. Later on we have seen circulation or the transportation in case of Platyhelminthes, and after Platyhelminth, the next phyla is this roundworm, also called as Aschelminthes. Annelid onward, there will be advanced type of circulation. This advanced type of circulation we are going to study further in the next part. See, the transport which we are studying, this transport, it takes place by two processes, and these two processes of transport are, first one is called as diffusion and second one is called as active transport. What is the meaning of these two terms? First one we will see diffusion. It is the movement of substances, or we can say movement of material from higher concentration to lower concentration. And this movement of material or the substances from higher concentration to lower concentration is an easy way of transportation, and it does not require energy. So no energy is required. Remember this second sentence, no energy required for this process. Simply it's a passive process, that is movement of material from higher concentration to lower concentration. Second one is called as active transport. It is exactly opposite to diffusion, that is movement of substances from lower concentration to higher concentration. And this movement of material from lower concentration to higher concentration, it requires expenditure of energy, and as it requires energy, it is called as active transport. For example, last year we have studied in case of kidneys, in case of active reabsorption, selective reabsorption. If you remember, the amount of glucose, even though it is less in the proximal convoluted tubule, amount of glucose in PCT, even though it is less, it is reabsorbed and given back into the blood. So this less amount of glucose, its transportation from PCT to blood, it requires energy, and that will become active transport. So transportation of substances from one place to another takes place by diffusion and by active transport. in the further part we have to study types of blood vascular system. Now what is this? This is blood vascular system. That means the system which is concerned with transportation of blood, and via blood the different substances will be transported from one place to the another. So types of blood vascular system involve two types. First one is called as open circulation and second one is called as closed circulation. What are the meanings? In case of open circulatory system, blood vessels are not present at all. That means we can say that cells and blood, or we can say cells and hemolymph. Instead of blood we can use the term hemolymph, are in direct contact with each other. That means blood vessels are exactly totally absent. In case of closed vascular system, we can say that blood vessels are present. Because of presence of blood vessels, there is no contact of blood cells and the blood directly. So here blood vessels are present. In such case, blood vessels are absent and there is direct contact of cells with the blood or with the hemolymph. This is the main difference between open and closed vascular system. Second difference between these two is pressure of blood. This pressure of blood is very low. We can say low blood pressure is there. And in case of closed vascular system, as blood is confined to blood vessels, it shows high blood pressure. And because of high blood pressure, blood can move properly throughout the body. In case of open circulatory system, respiratory pigments are absent. Do you remember what are the respiratory pigments? One of the example of respiratory pigment is hemoglobin, which carries oxygen and carbon dioxide. So respiratory pigments are absent in case of open vascular system, and this respiratory pigment like hemoglobin is present in case of closed vascular system. Means what? This respiratory pigment are absent, so there will be no passage, no transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide. But in case of closed vascular system, as hemoglobin is present, there will be passage of we can say transportation of oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place.